Wow. All right. Who did their job yesterday? Let's start there. Who did their job on this team yesterday? Because let's get that part over with now, because that part's going to be short, and then we'll get to everything else. Who who can be removed from the cone of blame? Thomas Rawls. Thomas Rawls played very well. For as little as we were able to use him, he did very well out there. Tanner McAvoy, a guy with limited talent. He's going out there and he's outplaying Jermaine Kearse. And Jermaine Kearse doesn't need to play anymore. Tanner McAvoy can take those snaps, and I don't see how you get worse, and you're probably going to get better. So, Marcel Reese had a couple nice catches. Good game by him. Nice to see him contribute. Richard Sherman I don't think he gave up any completions that whole game. Cam Chancellor did fine. Stephen Terrell did fine. Stephen Hauschka made a field goal. And I think we're pretty much done here. Guys, I haven't had to deal with this in a long time. 2011 was the last time I saw this team get their ass beat. It had to happen eventually. I didn't think it was going to happen like this against a above average to good Green Bay team that has real problems. I didn't think it was going to be like this. I thought it might be a few weeks ago against New England. It was looking like it was going to go that way against Tampa 2 weeks ago, but it happened. 38-10, and the game didn't even feel that close. And I had to watch the first half of that fucking thing at a Green Bay sports bar. There are two of them in Washington State, two official Green Bay Packer bars. And I went to one of them to watch the first half of the game. So that was awesome. If I had made this video right after the third quarter of this game, I would have just gone off for 20 minutes. But by the end, I was very much numb. And I still kind of am, because it's hard to get mad for 3 hours. And for me to have really expressed myself the way I wanted to after a game like this, I would have needed to have found a way to be angry for 3 hours, and you can't do that. So by the end of this game, I was very okay. I was very calm. I was very like, well, it happens. And don't get me wrong, it does. This team is not done yet. This team is still in favorable position to close out the season well and really do something in the playoffs, but seeing your team play like this, it's not good. So, offensively, let's start with the dumpster fire that is the offense, and really the main problem after yesterday. It starts at the top. Russell Wilson, in terms of the players, you are the top, and I don't think he's injured. I mean, it's not like Derek Carr, who can't throw the ball all of a sudden because he's playing with an injured hand. Maybe his pectoral is still injured. I don't know, but this was ridiculous. I mean, he blew through 2 easy touchdown passes on the first 2 drives of the game. That's 14 points he just chucks in the trash, or 11 extra points that we just throw away because he misses an easy touchdown to Doug Baldwin and an easy touchdown to Jimmy Graham. And he spent the rest of the game trying to overcompensate for that, and he underthrew and threw behind everything. It's like those first 2 drives, he figured out, okay, my receivers can't run as fast as I'm used to them being able to run. I need to underthrow it a little bit, and then he went way too far that way, and oh my God. And I mean, the picks were bad, but missing 2 easy touchdowns on the first 2 drives of the game kills me, man. I was watching, because after Green Bay had gone down and scored really quickly on their first drive, I was like, yeah, we need the offense to show up today, like I said. And then you see Wilson just doesn't have it together, and how's this going to go? Yeah, so Wilson, worst game I've ever seen him play. And by the end, it was just comical. It was no longer really his fault, but everything that could go wrong went wrong. Jermaine Kearse didn't fight for a jump ball. The ball, got tipped up, picked off in the end zone. Doug Baldwin, it bounces off his face mask, and it ends up in Demarius Randall's hand or something like that. Hands. Troy Maine Pope bounces off his hands into a Green Bay. I mean, I understand the stuff that happened near the end of this game, the second half. Not all on Russell, but that first half was bad enough for the whole game, and you got to put a huge piece on him, and this is not working anymore. I know the offensive line is bad. I know the situation our offense finds itself in is less than ideal. I know it kind of sucks for the quarterback to play behind this offensive line, but that shit's not okay. And if he wants to be a $20 million a year quarterback, which he is, that shit can't happen. He played like a rookie yesterday, and I could spend this whole video just talking about how bad Russell Wilson was. I wanted to bench him at halftime, not just to try to win the game. I had already given up on the game, but this wasn't helping. This isn't helping. Offensive line. Let's go ahead and swing right into that. My expectations are very, very low for those guys. And, don't get it twisted. They definitely had a lot of bad plays out there. But I didn't think it was, critically bad like it was against Arizona or St. Louis or Tampa Bay even. Yeah, they blew some plays, but this game was over by the actions of everyone else on the offense first, in my view. Mainly Russell Wilson. So I know the offensive line is bad, guys. I know Wilson's getting hit way too much. 3 sacks, 20 quarterback hits again, but that's our team. And all things considered, I don't think they played terribly yesterday. And I keep coming back to the game that Wilson played, especially in that first half where he blew 2 touchdowns and he threw 2 terrible interceptions. 3 touchdowns he blew, actually. Doug Baldwin had a few catches out there. Showed up in part, but of course, just when we're trying to salvage whatever little hope we have left, a ball bounces off his face mask, goes right to the defender. And you never see that stuff from Doug Baldwin, so I can't kill him for it, but it was not a good moment for that to happen because I was already feeling very down about this team. And then the guy who I depend on more than almost anyone else screws up like that. Tyler Lockett had a couple drops in this game. He got poked in the eye. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I think Alex Collins had a fumble at the end of the game. It didn't matter, but it's still a fumble. Jermaine Kearse, it's time to go. He doesn't do anything anymore. He's not fighting for jump balls. He's not getting open. He's not on the same page with Wilson. There's just no reason for him to still be out there anymore. We can give all of his targets to Tanner McAvoy, lose nothing, and probably gain something. Jimmy Graham, he got open for what should have been a long touchdown on the second drive of the game. Wilson flat out misses him, and it was hard to even target him the rest of the game, honestly. It was one of those, it's just, you get so caught up in everything else that's going on in the game, you forget about your all-pro tight end. And that's not somebody you need to be forgetting about. Wow. Just, I can go down the list of these offensive players, and they all messed up, believe me. Almost all of them made mistakes, but I can't stop coming back to the game that Wilson played, and I don't even think you can really put this one on the coaches. I know, I got a comment a couple weeks ago saying, do we need to move on from Darrell Bevell? Bevell's not perfect, but the personnel we've given him also heavily flawed, and in many regards, I think he's doing about as well as you could hope. I wouldn't be against a change, but I don't see how this is his fault, especially yesterday. I don't think yesterday was his fault. Yeah, maybe we moved away from the run a little too soon, but we fell behind so fast, and it's tough. It's tough. All I can say is I'm glad we don't play very many games on grass, because that seems to be a big freaking problem for this team, offensively playing on grass. And, Tampa Bay and now this game. Thank God it doesn't happen very often, but I don't know why it's such a big problem. Defense, I'll give it to Jeremy Lane, who played like dog shit. He's been having a bounce back last month of the season, and then he goes out there and does that, shits all over himself. Pass rush, what the hell? I don't care if the Packers' offensive line is holding on every single play. You got to get to Aaron Rodgers. You got to find a way. I don't care if you're bringing 7-man blitzes. I don't care if you're bringing safety and cornerback blitzes. Whatever the hell you have to do, you cannot let Aaron Rodgers stand back there for 10 seconds. And I don't know if Bennett's not all the way back. I don't know what's up with Averill and Clark. I understand that the defensive tackle spot is not getting great pressure on the quarterback, but this pass rush, the level it's been playing at the last couple games is completely unacceptable. And I don't know even where to start to blame with that. I gave them a pass for the Carolina game because they were max protect all game, but this was inexcusable. This was ridiculous. Deshaun Shed, I can't get mad at Shed because he gets beat sometimes, but he did give up a few things yesterday. We couldn't tackle Ty Montgomery, the running back, who is not even a running back. We couldn't. The secondary, other than Jeremy Lane, I can't get mad at anybody in the secondary because the pass rush was pathetic, and when the pass rush is pathetic like that, what can you expect the secondary to do? I'll give it to Lane because he blew some tackles, he missed some assignments, he got burned deep on the third play of the game, but I said in this game, we need the offense to show up, we need to run the ball, and we need a big pass rush on Aaron Rodgers, and it really did come down to that. We couldn't run the ball because we couldn't get any pass rush on Aaron Rodgers. That's really what it feels like this one comes down to. KJ Wright falling down. Somebody get that bastard some new shoes. Bobby Wagner, he's been having huge games all season. Finally, he has a quiet one. I'm not killing him, but he did not have a monster game that we're used to seeing him have. Even John Ryan, man, I hate to piss on a punter after a game like this because it seems like a waste of time, but Jesus Christ. You got to stop with all these shanks, man. It's happening consistently now. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a lot to be proud of after a game like that. I can't put a happy face on this one. But at least it happened now rather than in a month. And we have 3 games against very weak opponents coming up. We have the Thursday night game this week. We have 3 division rivals in a row, 2 at home. We can feel a lot better about things in 3 weeks if things go the right way, because I'm sure Detroit's going to drop a game. And I think Atlanta is still half a game behind us. So if we win out, which we absolutely should do, 2 seed, guaranteed home game, let's go. We'll brush this one off real quick. I'm already getting over it. Like I said, if I had made this video after the third quarter was over, I would have lost my mind. But today is just a day for getting over it, purging it, and figuring out how to do it better next time, because this pass rush cannot stay like this. If this pass rush does not drastically improve from the last 3 weeks, then nothing good is going to happen for these guys. And we have the personnel to be far better than this. So they have to have some kind of come to Jesus moment about that. All right, that was as bad as it's gotten in the Russell Wilson era. That is the worst Seahawks game of the Russell Wilson era. Can only go up from here. More on that before Thursday.